that's good. Wait, no. Over here. You, over here. We go. Then we do that. Let's see. Maybe everything works now, hopefully. Oh, jeez. People outside my window, please. Come. Okay. Okay, there we go. Audio's working. Awesome. Hold on, just in case. Stream is back. Wicked. Be sure to refresh if it's not working. Yes, yes. There we go. Hey, hello! Hello, Tatoes. Hello, Clay. I apologize for, like, the slight delay. Yeah, no, for some reason, it was only on my end. It was only on my end, but, the audio was delayed by about 3 seconds. And that was not fun. But hello, I hope you guys are doing well. It was still, like, moving things around and everything. I just had to, like, fully restart my PC. Like, all the way. But hello, hope you guys are doing well. Okay, that's good, that's good. Alright, and then I go onto Twitter. And the ba and there we go, quote. Add a hiccups with we go. And post. And that is that. That accidental target or something. You're good, you're good. I was looking for a Vale stream. Yeah. Well, welcome. I haven't forgotten. I almost did, but I haven't forgotten. Yeah. A lot of the ETTV emotes or FFC emotes are back at least a little bit. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I don't know why. Okay. Everything appears to be working good. Not just I slowly get eepier and eepier. Yeah. That's fair, that's fair. It's all good though, no worries. This game tends to be pretty calm. You know, the game tends to be pretty calm, so you can fall asleep pretty easily. Yay! The People Smile Stair is back, because I was finally able to find it again. I forgot where I was going. Where am I going? Where am I going? Oh yeah, I was going to the Wasp? Oh wait, no, I was going over here. You somehow managed to make a bug Fables not chill. I have no idea what you mean. I have no idea what you mean. No idea what you mean. I am the most chill. The most chill. Been baking tomorrow? Yo, nice. Okay, I know where I have to go, but I want to do some side quests. So therefore, to the Bee Kingdom we go. We go and we run. Flying cloak. Okay, I know you got a point. Okay, yeah, got a point there. You got a point. I can't deny. I can't deny. To be fair, it was very fun and silly. Never seen this game in my life. Oh, Tatoes, you're gonna love it. If you like RPG style Paper Mario style games, or at least Paper Mario 64 and Paper Mario 1000 Year Door games, you'll like this one. This was like all the music and everything and all the characters too, and words and the designs and everything, they are adorable and I love them. I love this game with all my heart. Yeah. Very cute. Boah! Thank you, Streamlabs. Or Stream Elements, sorry. Thank you, bot. Flex seems to absolutely not cheating and losing. You'll love this. I don't know what you mean. I would never cheat. I do a think. I think. Where am I going? Oh, I have to talk to the one person. I cheat in things all the time to enjoy things. Eh, that's fair. I only cheat in specific things. Here we go. Robot having all the menders that are reliable. I need to go on my steed. Just gotta whack them. And if they do, I have a feeling. Oh yeah, cockroaches are like an ancient civilization slash heavily advanced race? Species? Bug species? I don't know, and I've played this before. So go here. Oh, no. Where are the menders? What do menders look like? Done. Background test, so we just... Okay, I know that's fair. Yeah, and that's on the teachers. Absolutely, that's like total. Also, I mean that's fair, yeah. Crunchy leaf, crunch crunch. That works. And still theirs. Oh. A hamster ball. I won't lie, I have no idea what the meant. Bruh. The hamster ball makes it return. Whoop, nope, there we go. Did you go here before? Yes. However, I have a side quest that I need to do here. Whoop. You know, I was here before, but it's a side quest that I need to do. Like, I have to hit something. I have to hit some things. Hit some machinery. First of all, the stream's surprising. Thank you. Oh, these guys! Oh, okay, so I just gotta beat them up. Okay, I see. Gotcha. Yay, it's adorable. It's okay. It's my job. I'm supposed to do this. Oops. My job. I'm supposed to do this. That way they work again. I'll be the bum. I have to. Oh, these are way too cute. We should ask for them later. Maybe a plushie even. Oh, Leaf. I agree. I'm sorry, but I have to. Yeah, see? See? He's having issues. We need to help. They do deserve the beating up. They didn't do anything, but their code is not working the way it was intended. The Untamed will ever for the Eldritch Moth. Yes. The little plushies. Little plushies. Oh! Oh no! Rating data 3 bugs. Detected as very hostile. Asking for pity. Error. Pity directory no longer exists. Please check data integrity. I do feel a little bit bad after that. Why? Now, even though we got some experience, he's still okay. See? Look at him. See? We just had to reset him a little bit. He's all good now. Ender reset complete. See? He's all good. See? All good. Where we go now? There's 3. There needs to be 2. Yay, a sweet little rope. He's just a little guy. Oh, and then this one. Critical error, critical error. Did we ever find out why the moth has tentacles? Not yet. Not yet. Probably later on, though. Just not right now. Missing directive and purpose. Starting quote. What am I supposed to do? I feel that. I feel that, little buddy. I feel that, little buddy. Why shouldn't the moth have tentacles? Not a clue. To be fair, in this sort of sense, I don't think it's very natural, at least. Like, it's not good. Ender reset complete. Here we go. Hey, then... Because it's a moth. It is a moth. Moth. Looks like let's, yep. It's very realistic. I don't know what you mean. Where is the other one? Are you... Yeah? No. Oh, no. Where is my child? Where's the bed bug? Oh, I still have the bed bug. Don't you worry. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. The child. The child. He is still here. He is still here. Let's go. That is still here. Oh, I did add a few things, cause I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot to do it, like earlier, like quite a few streams earlier. And if you look in the upper right corner, you can now see that I now have goals for once. I mean, I think they're reasonable, but I have no idea. Whoop, there we go. Yeah, it's not like too far off, I don't think. This guy! Critical error, critical error. What will those goals give us? I haven't thought about that yet, I won't lie. No, I haven't quite thought of that. I know that the sub goal... Well, if Rice is still up for it, Rice is gonna make like, you know, the little slime blob guy that's on my shoulder? Rice was gonna make like a huge version of that. But I still have to ask to make sure that Rice is okay with doing that. So that's the sub goal. I still have to double check and make sure it's not for certain, but I know that Rice was talking about that, but I want to double check to make sure that's still okay. If not, I can always come up with something else. Subject found. B. Error. Data is corrupted. Reset required. Repeat. Resetting required. Please call B for repairs. I do know if it's around small B. It is now though. The follower goal everyone is once room without caffeine. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. I need caffeine. I don't have a caffeine addiction. A challenge stream? Oh no. Dude. I would be so low energy. That stream. Vendor reset complete. This is just like punching stuff to get it to work again IRL. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Challenge stream. It would definitely be a challenge for me to stay awake, I won't lie. I like... Oops. Oh, no, there we go. It's like finding a game where you just sit AFK for the entire time. I might. What's the game you need the most concentration for? Most concentration I think would be Inscription. Oh, nope, there we go. And I do plan on playing that game again. But no, the most concentration would be Inscription. Inscription stream without any caffeine? Oh no. That... Oh. That would be difficult, I won't lie. that would be just like a tiny bit difficult, I won't lie. A wee bit. Come on. Okay, you know what? No, we're going back. Yeah, you know, it definitely would be a challenge. Yeah. Alright, fine. If we hit the follower goal, I will do an inscription stream without any caffeine. And we'll see how long I can last. I don't know. Then sub goal is the giant slime dude if Rice is still good with it. Also, there are just kids screaming outside my window. They need to chill. Here's Lucky Carrie's sleep. I know. Yup. Yup. And I'm not gonna repeat any of this tomorrow. But to be fair, Carrie couldn't really do anything for the follower goal, because that's the challenge stream with no caffeine. The sub goal is just the big slime. So if anything, it's just it depends on like other people and everything. It would abduct people. I don't think that's no, that's not a good. No, not good. No, no, I refuse. About to create a bunch of other accounts. Oh no. No, do not. I'm pretty sure Twitch would definitely just not be happy with you. It would just kinda bap the other accounts. Oh wait. Burner, burn, 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 burner, burn, burner. I have another email. Oh. We'll find a way. Please don't. Are they gonna know it's me? I mean, fair. But still. But still, please. Please? Brother. I don't know how much emotional connection to this account. What if I said please? There we go. What if I said please though? At the haven near the Eastlands. I can do that. We have a hard bargain. Just a very simple bargain. Just please. My cat is still asleep behind me. She's been asleep behind me for the past. I've done my. What have you done? I worry. I fear. My cat's sleeping at the bottom of my bed. Aw, adorable. That she can be for me. Oh, oh no. If you think about it this way, they probably cat just wanted to be just wanted to like lay down and sleep without having to deal with like with you moving around and everything. Guys, I know that's what my cat hates. Cause she'll like sleep right next to me when I'm asleep, but the second I wake up and start moving around, she will just hop off the bed. Just be like, no. Nope, too much movement. I do not like. I feel it actually like stretched my leg. I got a bit too close. Oh no. Oh. The cat's just like, you disturbed my slumber. Death to you. The bed went missing. Lost a snake mouth dead. Oh my god, another. Oh, you're adorable! Ah! I have a little ladybug friend with me. Oh my goodness, you're adorable. You are so cute. It looks like you just have like a little cloak. Ah! Yay, new friend! Hold on, I have to check out this. Oh my gosh, Jesus, so cute. I love her. Hold on. Let's see with the medal. Dune Scorpion. Oh yeah, Dune Scorpion was horrifying. Beat the Watcher. Okay. Ooh. Oh, okay, that one's pretty good. After a successful battle, ooh, nice. I love her design. I love her design so much. Look at that. Ah, cute. I love. It's adorable. Love how they just all follow. I know, right? Just following the leader. Following the leader, wherever he may go. Eat him. Kitty. We're keeping them. I think only for a little bit. Only for a little bit. Well, so that we can find her brother and everything. I'd follow Vale, but I'm already following. Also, hello, puppy! It's been a while. I hope you're doing good. But also, it's okay. No worries. It's okay. Pat, pat, pat. It's okay. You're good. Also, I hope you've been doing well, puppy. Definitely been a bit. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, unfortunately we can't keep this one. However, I do know where I can get another companion. But it's gonna be a little bit difficult to get that one, I won't lie. I need like, I need like another ability that I don't yet have, but I will at one point. Yeah! Oh yeah, puppy. Oh, no sound? Oh, okay. Yeah, Rice made it. Hey, welcome back, UA. Well to fix. Yeah, no, just... technology is not the best right now. Also, UA, we got a new friend. Look! New friend! New friend. She's adorable. We have to find her brother. Very cute. New friend. White people happy. Wait, yes. You. Ooh, a spicy berry. Oh. Do this one. I don't remember the names anymore. This one is Kabu. This one is Leaf. And then this one is V. For now we are just Kabu, but I love Leaf more. Leaf is good. And then we have to try and find this ladybug's brother. A belief in V? Yep. Yep. Indeed, indeed. Those are the main three and everything. That's the funniest sound, what the hell? Oh dude, I know, right? They're so silly. You jumped? Oh yeah! I know, it makes all sorts of funny sounds, I love it. Aww. Horrifying. I have no clue. I have to inform you that the issue, or else where you were gone. I have no clue what the game is about. Hey, it's all good, no worries. Question, could I eat those mushrooms? You probably could. Maybe. Be very careful though. Also, it's all good, UA. No worries. Technology happens, stuff happens. You can probably just catch up with the VOD and everything. You really didn't miss me. Rigged added to my list. I don't think that's a good idea though. Such a silly chill game until it's not. Until there's corpses that aren't dead but are still very, very hard to kill. Yeah. There's an end to this game? Technically, yeah. Oh, in the corner of this room. I must hurry. Oh yeah, like this guy right here. That little guy right here, or right there. You see? Yeah, that's technically a zombie and that's being controlled by a fungus. Yeah. This game has a lot of realistic stuff to it, and I know that's one of the things. Thankfully, I am way too strong, and they are just so weak. They are very weak. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's one. That's one example. Another example is just that there are floating cockroach heads. Which is just, Oh, we found them. Also, I love how they talk. I hated floating heads. Oh yeah, no, they were not fun. Thankfully, they're only in one part, so we shouldn't see them again. At least I hope not. No jump scares. Yeah, definitely. It's Aww. Give them some time to talk. Egg. Aww. Aww, you give me the most food, then pretend you're not hungry. Aww. Not a kid. I can help you out too. We're family. It's gonna make me cry. Yes, you're right. I'll depend on you a bit more from now on. What is it with games you play and wholesome siblings? I have no idea. I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't know. I don't want sis to pay the reward. It's my fault she had to come here. Is this enough? I found it while exploring. Oh, lore book. Let's go. Yes, thank you. Not enough. Thank you, brave lad. Get out here before more monsters appear. Yeah, sure. I already tried the thing. Wait, I probably should. Oh, or not. Alright. Again, thank you for everything. I hope we caused no trouble for you. No problem. Stay safe, YouTube. Well, let's find something else to do. Will do. Oh. Oh. Leave. Oh. Actually, you want to try that one place again. Just to see if it was because I had the ladybug there. Yeah! Oh yeah, Leaf is a moth with ice powers. And then there's Bee who has a boomerang. Rare instance of Leaf having a heart. Oh, yep. Very much so. It's just so very much just deadpan. But he has his moments. Leaf has their moments. Yeah, I know, right? Oh dude, join the club. I love Leaf so much. So a tsundere? Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. There are some things that is a spoiler that I will not say, but yeah, no, basically tsundere. If I'm saying that right. I want to try do this thing one more time. I love that thing so much. Oh yeah, there's also this one too. I couldn't help myself, I'm sorry. I had to. You're weirdly good at not spoiling the game. Hey, thank you. I had to think about that for a moment. Yeah, because a lot of stuff, some stuff I remember, other stuff I don't. That is one of the things that... that is one of the things that I do remember. Some things, though, I don't remember. Oh, it was that. Oh. Magic. Oh. Hydration. This drone worked. This place must hold clues to your past. Oh. 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 Oh, water time. Eh. Drinks the water. Likely if that's us. Yeah. It's a little bit sus. License is intense. Oh. Us is finally finding our answers. Ooh, okay. So we're getting into what happened to Leaf. Oh. Starting to worry. Yeah, no, same. Oh. Oh. Huh? To Leaf. This place has a lot of energy that is making Leaf act like that. Vivian Kabu? I don't think it's them exactly, but it's very weird and I don't like that. A bee and a beetle. They look like them, they do. And I don't like it. Oh? What are they saying? They won't listen. This is weird. Yeah. That's very fair. It's very hypocritical. No, it You know, they're, UA, just letting you know, there are points where this game is pretty dark. This is one of the points where this game gets dark. Otherwise, it's like pretty light in comparison, but there are dark points, so I apologize if this isn't your cup of tea. Sorry. Yeah, see? Zombie. Zombie. You know, I apologize. This point is very light. He became a unicorn. So true. You're good, you're good. No worries, no worries. Oh! I forgot that I had, a charm. Oh. Oh, jeez. I was wondering if the cave was making them hallucinate. Nope. It's not. Unfortunately. Yeah. And it's, very much so worse. Yeah. Unfortunately, just the not hallucinating, but still just not good. Oh, jeez. Okay. We are gonna heal up Taboo a little bit. Remember, guys, it can always get worse. I mean, we can also try to make it better too, though, right? You just gotta power on through. Got this. Got this. It's all good. See, we got this. Easy. And then this. Don't worry. It's okay. It's only the beginning part. We're all good. We're good. We're fine. Oh, I feel a little bit bad for Lee. Don't jump to any conclusions. We must delve deeper and find the truth. Right, let's move. Even if I care idea, I doubt we'd make it. You have an idea. Oh, let's go! We can make a bridge. If buddy, you're the only one who knows what thing. Yeah. Yeah. I do like the sound it makes, I won't lie. It is, it's a very nice sound. I like this. Whoa! Sound effects in this game are so goofy, it's wonderful. They are. They're amazing and I love them. Also the music in this game too. Very nice. Hold on. Need to spy. Let me see your health. Here we go. Bloat. Hey, Tatoes, there's another mushroom for you. 14 HP. Oh wait, hold on, no wait, it's poisonous. Potatoes, don't eat it. Wait, no, where'd you come from? Where'd that one come from? Implant out. I will eat the other one. I know that's fair. It is very fair, no worries. Wait, hold on. Dash through, and that's 5. I'm still gonna do it. Okay, that's good. And I'm fairly certain that this will kill it. Nope, I was incorrect. There we go. There we go. Okay, then that one's good. I don't know why, but this sort of music sounds like it has a bit of jazz. And people stop attacking Kaboo? No. Simply because, it's the fact that, Kaboo is, like, in the front. Which means people are very mad at Kaboo, specifically. Because of him being in the front. 10 HP, there we go. Good. Really worried. What's worse than the undead torture? Knock. Say a single word. It doesn't show anything. If that makes you guys feel better. It doesn't show. It doesn't show anything. I was being silly goofy. I apologize. I'm sorry. Oh, what is this? Being sarcastic about this bit. That's a my bad. That's my bad. Yeah, no, when I said that this game gets dark, it gets dark. It's like Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. Like, if you know how dark Paper Mario 1000 Year Door can be, it's at that level, plus like a little bit more dark. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, hey, hi, CF. How you doing? I hope you're doing good, CF. Hope you've been just having a grand old time. Nothing bad is happening. No worries, by the way. Doing good? Hey, that's good. I thought the undead and the government takeover were the worst of it. Some perspectives, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong with that. Yeah. Wait. Just went to see some of the other places. Okay, I'm not gonna speak anymore. I go quiet. And now we zoom. Zoom. I'm just gonna sit here and just play this silly little bug game. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a cookie and I plan to eat it soon. Ooh, yum yum. Sounds good. Yeah. Wasps tried to dethrone people. I mean, they kinda succeeded with overthrowing their own people. That's all I'm saying. They succeeded a little bit. Yeah. I know this game can be really weird sometimes. A lot of times. Yeah, no, it was definitely wasps. Happy bug game, not as happy as I thought. How far are we in an hour? Yeah. To be fair, we're also like about halfway through. And it hasn't even been an hour yet. Oh. Eat the bouncy mushroom. Oh, oh no. I know that would just not be fun at all. Yep, the bouncy mushroom. I don't like. There we go. Ah. Oh, I regret. Oh, I regret so much. Okay. I have to. He's an enemy. I apologize, but I have to. He's also very poisonous too, so he will try to kill. Let's try and do Rex one at a time. Hunting the odd 6 minutes before. CF, I'm sorry, but I have to. It's okay, CF. Just look away. It's okay. Do not worry. Just look away. It's all good. Yeah, no, we were definitely beating up robots earlier too. Oh. Ah. Tell your brother to bring him back. There would be no necromancy here. I don't know about you, but I don't think the Pope Pet can do that. Jesus came back. I think that was just because of Jesus. Just a thought. It's something. I don't know the lore. I don't know. 5 HP. We can do you. I see. Just an itty bitty bit. Yeah. Whoopsies. I sensed so much sarcasm in that last sentence. So much sarcasm. I'm surprised by putting them out of their misery. To be fair, probably. Right, we probably are just putting them out of their misery. I'll be honest. No. Don't listen. Also listen. Oh no. You're to delight. SSP everywhere. Not a clue. I just, to be honest, I think it's because of them needing it. Not helping. The heck? Oh. Wait, I'm so sorry. If you want, you can, like, mute. Just have it down really low and everything. That way your headache is better at least. I think Vale Vale and Yui the only good ones. Okay. I guess if you say so. Alright. Oh. Bruh. Lay, hush. You were also pretty cool. Do not be mean. I will bonk you. Not be mean to yourself. I will bonk you. I'm watching you play. Oops. We're just gonna ignore the fact that that a Kabu just died. It's all good. Don't worry. He's back. Be fine so long as I don't move too much, I think. It makes me... Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's fair, that's fair. I think I'm also just... That's more skills. There's more medals and more hearts. I think I'm gonna do with hearts. You know, definitely, Yui, just please be careful. If it helps, maybe also close your eyes too. I know that helps sometimes when I have a headache. I kind of just close my eyes and just relax a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. See, Kabu's up and running. He's all good. It's fine. He's good. It's all good. He's fine. Oh, I have to find the key. I have to find the keys. By the way, I'm just gonna tell you guys this now just in case you're a little bit lost. These notes are written by the roaches. And this one, stop now? Preposterous! We're about to create something above the gods. If that doesn't give you any red flags, I don't know what will. This is a roach cave? Yeah. Very last we can relate. That's great. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's all good, CF. Yeah, that worked. Basically, we are currently traversing this cave to figure out what happened to Leaf, which is this blue moth guy. Which is this blue moth guy here. And he doesn't remember, or they don't remember anything of their past. And so we're in this cave to figure out, like, what happened to them and everything. Did the roaches experiment on bugs? I don't know. Anyway, something completely off topic. These crystals store incredible amounts of data. You can study subjects even if they expire. That definitely does not correlate with what you were talking about. That definitely doesn't correlate. No. That doesn't correlate at all. Just leave an experiment that got out or something. Nothing. This part I remember very well, but you're not getting any spoilers from me. Roaches were nasty? Yeah. No, they don't have very a lot of morals. They're very twisted, I won't lie. Also their flash dream thing of Leaf not being the only one of the weird moths. Yeah, there was. Can't remember. Whoopsies. Can't remember like exactly what it was, but yeah, like something along those lines. Yeah, 22 of the dreamwork points, or teamwork points. I need to speak better, blah. I just can't speak. Although part of the reason why I stream is just so that I'm able to speak. Are we gonna get an identity crisis? 2? Maybe. Possibly. Do they keep on moving? They do not. Okay. So Leaf is relatable. I pass unless I consciously try to, and even then there's a lot of holes. Yeah. No, that's very, very fair. I like this. Okay. Whoop! Bull. A bull. OCF, by the way, this is what I use the rainbow balls for. The rainbow. A dash. Is it always the same bugs? Unsure. There's only so much that they can do. Give me some spice. There's only so much that they could do! Leave them be! Assume the enemies before battle change anything? Yep! So if I hit the enemies before battle, it gives me like an extra turn to do something, or to do stuff. Which is what I tend to use to either, like see the HP of an opponent if I can't see it, or use an item or something similar in that regard. Okay, wait. Okay. Oh, right. Ah. Okay, so I need to be just like a tiny bit faster then. Bruh! Go. There we go. Cool. Okay, whoa! That was fast. Whee! I like these puzzle games. Extending Pokemon in Legends Arceus? Yeah, pretty much. It pretty much just like makes them confused and everything. And then the little ×2 above V's head right there, that indicates that I can move twice or have one of the bugs attack twice. Competent streamer will haunt my dreams. What do you mean? What do you mean? Bruh. What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? Excuse? Huh? I'm trying to progress in the storyline. What do you mean? Where's the falling? Where's the silly? There's still those moments. There are still those moments. Oops, no. There will be moments where I fall. I have fallen a few times. There have been a few times. Don't have please. What do you mean? Please don't have character development. What do you mean? Confident streamer makes me root for the stream. Thank you. I try to be competent. It's just what I'm not. It's just funny. I don't know if I'm tired or if none of these words are real. It's okay. They are real, yeah. Block. Yeah. Block of ice. Frozen. Unmovable. Oh, now dead. See if you get there. Okay. Sia, you doing good? Are you okay? CF could turn me into a block of ice and I think. To be honest, same. Ooh. A lab card. Nice. Whoa. Oh. We have the first roach. Well, first roach that like we can talk to. Yeah, no, they're very much nerds. Honestly, if Leaf turned me into a block of ice on like a really, really hot summer day, oh, I just forgot what I was saying. If Leaf turned me into a block of ice on a hot summer day, I would definitely thank them because I don't like the heat. I was saying what the screen said. Oh, gotcha. Oh, jeez. People are just outside the window. I'm actually just like me making past rebel of the website says not secure. Oh. I'd pick that. Very stressed when someone doesn't see something that is almost blatantly odd. Oh good. This is my last message. It isn't safe anywhere but here. We were proud and reckless. Food will not last long. To think it'd end like this. Oh. Well then. Oh yeah! Add random ats and pounds and ands and boom. Instantly secure password. Oh, okay. So with this being blocked and everything, I'm kind of wondering if just the zombies just ran amok. To be honest, probably. I forgot hashtags are called pounds. That's so good, I forgot for a good second there too. No, you're not going to. I'm also gonna heal up again. Thank you. To be honest, I think like a good majority of people have forgotten that hashtags are pounds as well. Because a lot of it just... Because a lot of people just call them hashtags. No, I don't want... I want to continue being shrimp. Alright, I guess I should straighten up. They're called pounds? Yep. Technically, Ryan, they're called pounds, and I think something else. Hold on. Unshrimp. No longer shrimp. Hold on. Looking things up. What? Number sign, pound sign. Uh. It was also originally called just an octothorpe? I don't know what an octothorpe is. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna post this in chat. This is apparently what hashtags were originally called, either like hashtags, hash marks. There's also just octothorpe. Is that spelled like that? Just octothorpe. It's a fun word though. It's a very fun word. Octothorpe. Octothorpe. I think that's the show I let kids my babysit watch. Honestly, probably bring it back. I don't know. I think everyone. I'm printing this and hanging it on a wall. Sounds good. I know. I think people just stopped calling it an octothorpe because it was just a mouthful. They just went with a simple hashtag. Yeah. Yeah, it does have eight endings, so technically it counts. Ah, no. No, I don't. I didn't even jump out there, bruh. Yo, big brain, let's go. Okay, now we're just getting to the part where I just can't really see. There's a Kabu. Kabu, I can't see anything. There we go. I can see a little bit. A little bit more. Cool. A little bit more. Oh nope, there we go. Whoopsies. What was I looking for? You were still very wise, Yue. Even though it's common sense, you were still very wise. As I know, a lot of people just out in the real world just don't really use common sense. Oh. I think I find common sense is lacking in this chat. Well, to be fair, a lot of you should have been sleeping by now. I stare. A lot of you should have been sleeping. I thought they called it Octothorpe just because it was cool and fun sounding and looking. Honestly, that's fair. That is very, very fair. Yeah, turning on the light. Not me, I'm normal time. Are you sure about that, CF? Be surprised how much. It's okay, Yue, pet. I'm like, in so normal time. Yup. Potatoes? I somehow doubt that. Such a normal time. Oh no. Ooh. The test subjects damaged the power core. We've gotta rely on the backup generator. Make sure to direct power to the pipes. Ooh, okay. Okay. Oh wait, we gotta do puzzles. Ugh. Hold on, I think I got this. Oh jeez. Okay. Now. I think that's good. I think I did it. They did not do a very good job to redirect the power. Apparently not, no. Whoop! Wait, but I did it? Hello? Oh, there we go. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, I am about to cause issues. I am about to cause issues. What do you mean this doesn't work? You mean... I am about to come. Ah! Haven't got a clue what I'm looking at here. To be honest, same. Big bug. Also, ow, that hurt. But no, I don't want to fight you. No, I flee. Whoopsies! Big bug. Big bug. I don't understand what happens when you push them. Do they turn around or off? They're supposed to be on, but it's only supposed to be the ones that have pipes going through them. I think. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, wait, hold on. Oh. That's good. That's good. Then it should all be good then, right? Yeah? I'm about to cause issues. Hold on, this is making me angry. Hold on. I'm searching, going into my mind. Going into my mind right now. If you hear typing, that is incorrect. I am not typing at all. I am doing nothing. Nothing. Yeah, just enlightenment time. Oh, hello, Cake. Hello. I hope you are doing good. I'm definitely not looking something up. I'm definitely not. Oh. Bruh. I'm definitely not doing it. Typing? Lose some poop. Yes. Wait, there are keyboard stem toys? Oh! Ayo? Second? Fourth, fifth. Oh, yeah? And? Hello? Oh, okay. Those one? Nope. Nope. You are causing me issues. Go away. Okay, Leaf is dying. Oh yeah! I forgot about that. One moment. Ooh. Guess make clacking sounds. Ooh, that sounds really fun. It's clicking. Cool. Okay, this guy right here is being mean. Oh. Yeah, if you could. Sat on the laptop. Oh no! Oh, the silly kitty. The silly kitty just wants your attention. The silly cat just wants attention. Dash through. Let him speak. Let the kitty cat speak. Let the cat speak. Yes, yes. On purpose. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna lose on purpose simply because I am stubborn. I don't like losing. The champ and everyone has thumbs. That's very true. Not everyone has thumbs. It's okay. Go. He does have paws, but still. Wait. Gonna cause it. I did, honestly. That's fair. Both thumbs are blessing. Yeah. They also have slight curse as well. Because then you just feel like that you don't want to. Oh jeez! What? Aw. What happened? Okay. I didn't know they could do that. But alright. Gotcha. Yeah, Kabu, can you do that maybe, please? I think that'd be a very good, that'd be a very good skill to have, cause oh. Let's see, let's do non-health again. It just, the bugs, what the heck? Cool, okay. Only do some up. Okay. False rainbow ones. So true. I'm trying to figure out what makes that one. That? No. Did this? No. I'm trying to solve a puzzle. It's because this one doesn't turn off. Okay, there we go. Okay. This is giving me a migraine. Okay, that one's off. Good. Good. Is the last one connected to? The last one over here is connected to the last one over here. Yeah, we had to make sure that only the crystals with the pipes behind them are on. And I think we just did it? They both need to be off, yeah. So I think what this has right now should be good. Definitely just made my head hurt a little bit. Oh, thank God. Thank the gods. Okay, we're good. We can move on. We can move. That gave me a headache. Ooh, a gear. Smart streamer. I don't know about smart. I know stubborn. Stubborn, yeah. Because I just pretty much just I'm very stubborn. Only like the last few tries, I tried to make sure like to see where it was. Give me slow spinning cogs that I can spin in life and I'd be set. Dude, same. Although I don't know, having fidget toys that are like a keyboard, it is really good as well. I like the click clack. Also, another roach. Something tells me that this roach is like a head scientist or something. Through crystals and bioorganisms, we've channeled frost and blight magic. If we could create thunderous spells as well, it would bolster our productivity. Yeah, no, that roach is weird. Very weird. Okay. Ow. Go away. Thank you. And I'm not surprised that the guy on the motorcycle is back. This one? Nice. Such a good idea. Like, yeah. This way? Ah! Technically, yes. Oh, okay. So that's why. I see. I thought you just went all the way back. I was so confused. To be fair, a lot of this is pretty much like sounds the same, looks the same. Whoop! And I died. Lovely. How can I not get this? Hello? Oh, okay. That's how I do it. Looks like a lot of stuff. Backtracking when it isn't, yeah. Wait. Waiting? That's not good? Oh shoot, you're right. Yeah? Oh. I do not know how I feel about that. Well, we have school. Oh no. It's okay, pet. And as in we, I mean I. Oh no. Oh. I wish you guys the best of luck. Oh no. Yeah, big gear. I think I only need like one. I'm tired. I'll go back to school for another 5 weeks. Are you sure you don't mean? Are you sure you don't mean to brag about that, Kratos? Oh, Tatos. Can you use the alert thing? Are you able to use it still? The break. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Are you still able to use it, by the way? Okay, that's it. Okay, right. Sounds good. Are you trying to... I don't mean to, I'm sorry.
EPI bitty p.
Itty bitty. Itty bitty sleepy. Okay, so it does work. Wicked. Need one more. But don't have enough points to alert. Oh no! I think I only gave enough points to a few people. That way it's like somewhat controlled and not Brian talking all the time. Nope, give him my points. Oh no, see if I sure that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea, CF. I won't lie. Oh, I know, I need to go this way. In other words, too many points. So many points. What if I find the other one? Hello? Wicked gambling, let's go. Is it this way? Where is it? Where? Oh. This way? I need you to run an ad. Why an ad? No. There's a reason why I don't have ads playing, because I feel bad just kinda, not gonna lie, the reason why I don't run ads is because I feel bad just, having you guys just watch an ad. I feel bad. Oh, subject is DB-43 is displaying disturbing behavior. I'll go check it out personally. No. Whoop. Oh. Oh. Okay, I see. Can be slightly difficult. I think I can do it. Oh yeah, the gamble thing I think is like on stream itself if you're on desktop, I think? At least I'm like 90% certain. I don't know 100%. Frozen drill. Yeah, it's okay, UI. Got my PC. You don't have to if you don't want to. Again, it's all good. I'm gonna stop gambling. That would be a good idea. I won't lie. that might be a good idea. Might be a good idea. Here we go. It's okay to not best CF though. Like, whoa, my god.
Live, laugh, and love.
Please don't have a gambling addiction now. Please, I beg. Is it all? No, must have some points at least. Where did you come from? Excuse? Oh, okay. Player always wins. I'm like 90% certain that that's incorrect. I'm just saying, I'm still. Oh, you are? I wonder if I can fix that. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix that actually. Give me a moment. Listen to this cool, upbeat battle music while I just tap around. see. Okay. What if I do just that? Okay, potatoes, you might need to refresh. But it should come up as tat error 404, I think. Look test, but my reaction to the undead bugs was similar. That's fair. Honestly, that's very fair. You know, I think with how like cute this game looks, the undead bugs really take people by surprise. Like by a lot. Can bother to refresh right now? That's fair. It's all good. What if I do? Hey, there we go. Oh, there's a bug over there. Lovely. No. No, no. Oh, I have to beat you. Can I just not? How about we have a nice chat instead? You doing your jumping jacks? That's good, that's good. Gotta make sure you get your steps in, I guess. You know, you must have legs of steel, I won't lie. Especially with all the jumping you're doing. She's judging. I know that's fair. I would be judging as well. Oh, I died! Oh my god. Bruh. I still EP at the end of the bed. Mike had decided that I was making a little bit too much noise and she has not left me. I think she's just kind of loafing outside the door. Right? Yep, I see her. I know, she's just loafing outside the door. But she's also just ignoring me. Very much just ignoring. Ooh, question. So, I was planning on streaming tomorrow, but I don't know what game I'm gonna be streaming. What do you guys want to see? Oh. Or HP not good. See where Vale's eyeball is? Hover over it. Don't hurt my eye! No! Do not poke my eye, please! Splatoon? Okay. It's been a while since I played Splatoon. No, my eye! Please! It's my eye! Oh. We can't heal our leg. Oh. Or Slime Rancher? I think I'll figure it out tomorrow, but either Splatoon or Slime Rancher. Gotcha. Yeah, we can do that. Also, let's just thinking about this. Let's just think about this little thing right here. So this is in a cell where bugs were that were being experimented on, and And with their last consciousness, they wrote this. We can't feel our legs. Oh, that hurts. Oh. Sometimes I love this game, sometimes it's just so dark. I love this. Played Osuvale? I don't think so. Wait, yeah, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think I've ever played that, actually. This is like the one book with the... Oh, jeez! Oh! I'm gonna politely just say no. Goodbye. Adios. Flower for... Oh. I'm very curious about that now. I'm very curious about that, I won't lie. So much curiosity. Ooh, no. Oh, Ilgirnon? Is that how you pronounce it? Ilgirnon? Ilgirnon? I think I'm saying it. I don't know how to describe. It's all good. Again, I'm not the best at speaking at all either. Oh no, they're so fast. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just... I don't have very many healing items left. And I'd rather not die. I do know that there is a little plant there that I can heal with. Oh, it's all good. I like the sounds this ice makes. Very nice sound. Algernon. Albert. Albert. Yes. Cool. Wicked. Lab. Whee! Here we go. Then... Oh, what is this? Oh, bro, what is it? Okay. Oh, I see. Hello. Come here, you. I must move you around. Ah. No. I have to move you around. Move around. Move. Oh. I move. Cool. Oh. Stay. Hello. Come here. Oh no, I have to. Done. Another puzzle I must complete. Another puzzle. Another one. Ah. I think I got it. Be fairly easy. Better stay there. Bruh. Looks like the one thing in Grid Runners. It does, yeah. Well then. Ooh! What's this? Oh. Well, that is convenient. Give me just one moment. Give me just one moment. One moment. This is very convenient to have right now. It's very convenient metal. Very convenient metal placement. So convenient, thank you. I believe I can touch the sky. have no idea what the other words are. I have no idea. Not a single one. I don't have a single clue. Away with you. Just go. Thank you. And my wings and fly away. Hey, Harry. Okay, then. No. Oh, wait, do I? Hold on a moment. I think I know what I have to do now. I have to get this guy done. Okay. No, you. I'm gonna cause issues. I'm gonna cause crimes. I'm gonna cause crimes. I'm gonna cause crimes. I'm gonna commit crimes. Just kidding. I'm not gonna commit crimes. Never mind. All good. We are good. Everything's all good. Very eepy. Oh, you sleep? Sounds good. No more gambling. I'm losing too much. Oh no. Please don't gamble. There we go. Here. Hey, have a good night, Tatos. Sleep well. Oh, there they go. Have a good eepy. Good night. Remember to take care of yourself and everything. Sleep well. Okay, so I got. Whoa.
Good night, beautiful and amazing stream.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by, Tatos. Always fun to have you guys around. Even though I don't really do a lot of crazy things. It's mostly just nice and chill. It's fun to still have you guys around with that thing. Oh. Things are moving. A cutscene. Oh. Wicked. Let's go. Can I gamble from mobile? I don't know. I hate this. Everything is quiet. There's no music. There's no music. I dislike this. I hate the fact that all the bugs are suspended in test tubes. That there's two broken ones. And there are two broken ones. Uh-oh. Oh, a big one is broken too. Yikes. Like, the air is true when Taylor Swift stuck in tubes. Yeah. Possibly. I don't know what you're talking about, but if it's something like this, then yeah. This moment where we reveal. Possibly. The quiet, I don't like the quiet. I don't know, and I hate it too. I'm like so on edge right now. This tank. It triggered any memories. We're sorry. All we did to get here. A lot of weird things. This facility. Worrying. But mostly just raised more questions. Failure quiet. You should like the quiet. I do like the quiet. Just not when it's like video games, because video games usually have like background music. When the music is gone, you know something's up. That's all I will say. I think the last queen built this place in secret. Well, that's absolutely impossible. Remember we were scouting Snake Mouth? This is probably what she was investigating. Only we hadn't messed up. We could have reported this cruel facility. Wasn't your fault. Make our way back. There is lots to think about. Oh. Oh, I hate this. From all the fools that happen to fall here, moths seem to be the best host. the best hosts. Hosts. Oh. It seems they have a better body suitable for magic. Maybe we should go out and try to get some more of them? Oh yeah, no. Yeah, it explains the tentacles and everything, and you know, they were just 100% just just experimenting on their fellow bugs. Lovely. Oh. Yeah, it does explain the tentacles. Oh. Sibling? Sibling? What is that? I don't know. I wish I knew. That doesn't make any sense. Oh. Okay, I know Leaf is like completely up for the count right now. No, Leaf is just absolutely just up for the count. Okay, so okay. Zamoth. So zombie moth. Lovely. 110. Okay. Oh no. No, what's going on, but it's gonna be okay. This thing's nothing like you. Let's defeat it together. Oh. Oh. Yeah, that looks painful. I feel sorry for this poor guy. Oh, jeez. That's a lot of points. Oh, lovely. Oh no. It is like not very good attack stuff. Oh, curing poison. You're sorry if it's killing Kaboo. There. Okay, hold on. Lift, secret stash. That way it gets some back at least. It's charging up. Must strike quickly. Oh. Your charm is right now. Oh no! I needed more charm! Bruh. Okay, the thing is, I don't know if I can really do anything. Because the only way that I could do something is if I could shield, but Leaf is the only one that can shield everyone. Right, why did it run out when you needed it the most? I have no idea. Just bad timing. And the power of Yeet on our side, I believe. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. Oh man. Let's go! Grandma, probably. Let's go, Leaf! Let's go! Oh, I have no siblings, as if I could be related to this beast. Oh! Leaf, you okay? Are you sure you're okay though, Leaf? Like, are you sure you're okay? Okay, so we got our hitter back. Leaf, you good, mate? I'll be honest, I don't think Leaf is. Bruh. I just like. Enemy dash through, under strike, heavy. And I don't have a lot of items. I have 2. I have magic ice as well. I have the to the mushroom guy. Just doing a bit of focusing. I also need to save the there we go. Okay. Then I don't think I can make it sleep because making it sleep also heals it. Which is not very good. Okay. So toss. First grounded. Okay. Just focus that guy. And then probably oh nope, okay, cool. Oh jeez. Okay, so I have less defense. Lens. Just no, that's not good. I thought that was for endurance points. Oh, that's awesome! I like that. That's very cool. I like that. Okay. It is a tiny bit. Just a wee bit. Okay. So the next one I need Leaf to need Leaf to create the shield. How much is it to create the shield? 7, okay. Secret stash should be good for Kabul for now. Okay, good. And there we go. Okay. Then just keep going. Then I still have one other, so we can see if it'll work. Nope. Okay. Death laser, pretty much. Yeah. Just in time. Yeah. No, it came back at a pretty interesting time. I won't lie. We have to beat this thing up, which is apparently Leaf's quote-unquote sibling, but we aren't too sure about that. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, there's... Oh. Okay, well, at least sleep, that's okay, that's... This one? I don't know. Hey, this bee is better than, the mushroom. Because the mushroom heals the moth creature. The Zommoth. At least with the Zommoth, there is a chance of, one of the bugs falling asleep. Which then also heal as well. The only thing is, I don't really have a lot. It also has so much health. It does, yeah. And it poisons. Freaks. Oh no, yep. Okay. That's okay. I have like 3 magic seeds. Stop picking on Kaboo. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think, the creature's really gonna listen to you. I have a feeling that the creature just won't really listen. What if I do? No, won't freeze, doesn't freeze. Okay. Oh jeez. Ah. Okay. Not having a good time. Still underleveled. Yeah. Very much just very underleveled. Also just don't have a lot of health either. Or items, sorry. Dude, no. I didn't want you. Maybe I don't know anymore. Hold on. Chance to freeze it. Okay, maybe one. That was cool. That got a lot of health. I don't have. Ugh. No, this is not good. I'm pretty sure that I will die here. Yep. I'm 100% going to die. 100%. Or... no, that's only 6. I will die. Yep, nope, I'm dying here. Do one last hurrah. Please get a little tiny bit more damage in. Oh yeah, no, that does like 5 HP. Okay. It's the roach mummy all over again. Yeah. Yeah. Let's try this again. Now we don't have to waste, at least, we don't have to waste a turn. That's good. Is that? Then Hurricane Toss, ignore defense. It does take a lot though, but it could be. That's 4. This should be good. Okay. Yep, cool. Then that. You want to do it? Yep. Ken is the part doesn't get killed, just knocked out. So true. Oh, definitely, like 100%. They're just knocked out, and then they're just going at this again. They're going at it again. It's all good. Clay, you're horrible. Horrible Clay. What the heck, man? That's still 1 HP. Go. There. Before. Okay. I won't. Skills. Oh, jeez. Alright then. Thank goodness. 3. 4 TP. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Time that right, so that's all good. Fence is down just a little bit. We're still good. Might have heal kaboom. Ah, water. Well done. Might have a shot this time. Maybe. I'm still gonna be on edge. I'm still gonna be on edge. We should be good. I'm not gonna be too hopeful yet. Just like on edge right now. That's about it. Okay. Spoke too soon. Nope. Lovely. Okay. Okay, that's good. They just have speed. You're good. You're good. You're good, Clay. It was funny. No worries. You're good. You're good. Gonna get. Wow, Caboose is getting slapped. Just literally just slapped. Stuff food. Okay. What do you mean? Shoot, that's right. Okay. I don't think... I think that, that killed me. I completely forgot about the bow attack. I completely forgot about that. That was just on me. Definitely just most likely gonna die. Likely. Yep. That's okay, we got the magic seed. Okay, we're good there. I won't lie, I feel just like a tiny bit bad for... Okay. And V's over here just getting slapped. What the heck? 60. Numbnail. Guys, maybe? I'm cold. Even under your blanket? Oh, it's suddenly cold. Uh-oh. It's not good. Oh dude, same. I don't like summer. Summer's just not fun. It's not good summer. No new. Not fun. Oh. Well, goodbye V, I guess. V is no more. There's that down to 50. Magic seed, so we're good there. Attack. Okay. few days now, but knowing it's good for like enough. That's fair. I think that is like very, very fair. Not that big a loss. SMH. What the heck, man? So rude. So mean. So mean to V. What has V done to you? Oh no. Yep. Okay, so V's dead. No, V doesn't do any damage. That's fair. Yeah, no, that's very fair. Okay. Just save the seed to leave. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Okay. I know, I think it was because of the hurricane toss that did like no damage because I forgot my attack was lowered. Pretty sure that's what did me in. We're gonna try this again. That's okay, we go again. It's all good. We're good, we're fine. Hurricane. Good times the charm. Yep. Hopefully I can get the timing right this time too. Got this, we got this. I just need to pay just like... I say that I need to pay closer attention, but then I just do no damage. And yeah. I think I may have doomed myself again. 110 health? Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Just restart at this point. We'll close our eyes. I mean, maybe. I at least want to, like, try at least. I'm stubborn. Oh, okay. I at least want to give this a good go. Defense is lowered, but that's okay. I won't say anything, or they're just going. Yeah, they might, but I'm stubborn, and I still want to give this at least a halfway decent go. Oh no, not you. No. 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 He's back. I don't like him because he heals. That didn't work. Like back the sleepy guy. Yeah, the sleepy guy is so tired, but he does a lot of damage, or he heals, and I don't like it. He heals a lot, and I don't. I took a trip to space. No. The space. Was it good? At least like somewhat decent. There we go. yes, very. With the wall for 50. Did you at least see aliens though? Did you see the aliens? The world was I did not. Aw. No alien buddies. Sadness. So sad. Burner, 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 burner. Oh, there goes mine. Oh well. Yeah, there goes one down. That? Not again! No! Bruh. I don't like you. Stop. It must be done, I'm sorry. He heals otherwise, and it's not fun. Sorry. All he does is heal. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's okay. Yep. And thus the tale was never finished. Okay, hold on. Look at that. Oh, okay, that's up there. So 2 at least. That one does do anything, at least for this one. Script starts with an extra turn, but their exhaustion runs up. Let's see that. That's 4. That'd be pretty good. That would be decent too. I'm more partial to meditation. Start. Okay. Let me try script and meditation. That should be good at least. Way I can gain some. Okay. Let's go. Can't go crazy with. Oh. I could do the heavy strike. 5, that's good. And then that. So good. However, I will do nothing to gain one more back. Okay, good. Okay. I think I have this. Attack is down a little bit. That's okay. That. And doing that. good there. And have Leaf take. Just for now. That's good. 1/3, that's okay. Is A-okay? Okay. Anything to gain 1 back. Then do that. Frozen Drill does a lot of damage. That should be good. Platform. Okay. That's down to 84, so that's good. Okay. Then... Oh, nope. What happened? I don't know. Okay, and then do nothing. And go back to Kaboo. To 15. Yes, that's... My leg is going numb. Okay, so that's down by 3. That's okay. That up a little. Okay. Oh my goodness. Stop going after Kaboo, please. Yeah, no, his attack is down by like... Attack will be down for like 6. Oh boy. Secrets. Yeah. Mac. My leg is going burr. This is stressful. Okay. Let's see. That's good. Pick. Just for a bit, just save and TP. As long as I'm lucky. Or hopefully the game will take pity on me and just not summon thing. We'll really have to wait and see though. Okay, there's that. Still good, still good. Okay. Guns, Frozen Drill. Should be good since... Oh, this should be good. Okay. There we go. Okay. Down to 55. Good. Okay. We'll see if this works. Let's see. I kind of figured. Okay. There we go. that we are gonna have 2 to nothing to gain a little bit. Then I don't think... yeah, no, I didn't. A shield. Okay, good. That does, like, an attack. Okay. Then... nothing. Back to kaboom. I do that a few times. Good. I think I'll have to set someone's turn. Can't heal, right? Yeah, no, can't heal. I do have the magic seeds, but I do have the sacred stash. I can do that at least. Then attack. That's okay. That's okay. Oh. Next name and place is gonna be annoying. Yeah, just a bit. And you know what? That's okay because I have like 3 magic seeds. There's that up to 7, which is awesome. However, we are still gonna do nothing. Good. Again with it. That. Shoot, I don't have enough yet. I don't have enough yet. No, 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 no. Okay. I think the only person that will be able to survive this is V. That's like the only person who will be able to survive this. And it's at 40 as well, and I can't do it. Seeds? Only 1. Wait, no, only 2, okay. So I'll be able to at least bring Leaf and Kaboo back, at least. I'll be able to bring those 2 back, so we're good there. Oh, hold on. I can even make BRB. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Boop. There we go. Alright. Just talking to roommate, but we're back. And still panicking. Cause yeah, there's no way that Leaf or Kabu are gonna live. I won't lie. I know there's like no way Leaf or Kabu is gonna live. But we do have two of these things, so we should be good. Go to Kabu and do nothing. It's okay, you have seeds? I do, yeah. Okay, okay. And then go to Leaf. Well, Leaf is up again. Then Kabu. Good, okay. Cool. Let's see, I could do nothing one more time. No, we're good. 3. The zombie moth didn't like V. Did not like V at all. So mean to V, SMH. What the heck? That. Then can do another turn relay. Just do nothing here. Okay, good. Yeah, we are down to 30, but there's nothing that Boo can really do. Just, I want to try and focus mainly on the zombie moth. Oh, I could. Okay. Top takes 5. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do a dash through. Wait, a strike? I'm gonna go back to You're good, no worries. Would have been nice. Okay. Alright. That's good. We got closer though. We got closer. Okay. And I don't think that I can like actually do that. Yeah, no, I don't think it's actually doable without more like healing items and everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back into town and to actually get more healing items. Can take a little bit, yeah, especially with the ice and everything, yeah. Shouldn't take too long though. We're already back to the beginning and everything. Yeah, see? Back to beginning. Now, if anything, I just mostly need healing items. Then I can also go to the cook. I see you up there, but I can't get to you. Okay. Just gonna take like a tiny bit just to get back and then go all the way back again. Yep. The soundtrack is very Mario Bros. It is, yeah. So good, I love it. Yeah, we just jam. Doing a little bit of jam. Oh, just the style and everything. Music and style. It's very nice. Very good, very good. I know I have enough magic seeds. What's going on? Okay. I apparently... apparently we missed some lore? Okay? Okay? I guess? I'm just like a tad bit confused, but that's okay. Can't use items for sure. Yeah, no, I feel like that it would get stolen. I just want to buy items so I can go back and beat up the zombie mob. What the heck? Well, at least now that the charms run out and everything, I can at least, go and get more charms and everything. That was easy. A really important one for Leaf, guys. Can you please? Oh no, I know, right? Like, come on, guys, really? Come on, we're trying to solve Leaf's past. What the heck? So rude. Bruh. SMH. Yeah, no, very rude. What the heck, man? SMH. I don't think they ever heard of, don't think they ever heard of just common courtesy. Because what the heck? What the heck? Bam. Oh. Well then. With you said, well, that's true, that's true. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I guess. Alright. Sounds good? Eh? Not sleep yet? CF. That's okay. You should be 5 a.m. Clay, please. Clay, please. Please go to sleep, Clay. I beg. Dream. There's always the VODs, Clay. Don't worry. It's okay. There will always be the VODs. You're good. It's okay. Pat. There will always be the VODs. You need sleep. Sleep is good. Right. 5 HP, okay. Need more. Okay, gonna sell. I wanna see you win. Hello, remember the trap. Oh, I will. I will, no worries. Okay. I will remember the charm. Just have to get... Wait. Have to get, Wait, no. Not mushroom and mushroom. No. Want the mushroom and the honey. Then just have to run over to Defiant Root. There we go. Then we have 2 things that restore at least 2 HP to the party. So there. There we go. Okay. So we should be good now. Now we go to the charm. I can't remember if it costs 30 or if it costs more. I'm gonna get like 20. So many berries, I'm rich. So let's draw. Need 20 to get 50. Okay. Now we have to get the charm to make sure that it lasts. So we have another good thing just up our. I refuse to end until I beat the zombie moth. And once we are on our way back, we can also... Ooh, wait, hold on. Actually, idea. Because I recognize that guy in the cloak. I have an idea. I've had a thought. A thought is had. Gonna book. Cool, that's good. Then... Night route? Yes, it's over. Just zooming along. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I won't lie, Divine Root is like one of my favorite areas. So much fun, I like it. Oh hey. Also, I like this one. I like you. Very pretty. You're a very pretty moth. I like you. See this moth? New favorite moth. Pretty moth. Pretty much. Pretty, yeah. Friendship ended with leaf. Now Pretty Moth is best moth. So true, so true. Another lore book. Oh no. Sorry, Leaf, but your siblings are annoying. So. Oh no. Well, we were just told that that pot was 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 very expensive. Oh, yep. You know what? That's very fair. One of a kind design. Oh. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Clay, no. So, I guess we're beating up Kaboo now. Sleep deprived, leave me alone. Then get some sleep. Then get some sleep. You need sleep. Yeah, I just thought of that. What the hell? Excuse me, Kaboo. Excuse me. Where did that HP go when we were fighting the zombie moth? What then? What the heck? Bruh. What the heck? Bruh. That was blinding him. So true. Forgot how much health he has. At this point, yeah. Just completely forgot. This Kaboo was supposed to be just a lowly 19. But instead it's not. I think if I keep targeting Callie, it should be fine. I think. I don't know. Pretty Moth, can you give us Kaboo back with all the updates? Oh dude, I know, right? Just please. Pretty please. Pretty please, thank you. I don't want to use any. I guess I could. Yeah, just make sure that he has just so much health. Please and thank you. I'm seeing an utopian version of Kaboo and I want it now. Same. Just please and thank you. Those for the moth. It's okay, I can buy more. It's all good. I have like so much, whatchamacallit? So many berries at the bank and everything. I have like 360 something, 340 something. So honestly, I'm doing good there. Let's see. Anything I should just be able to do one more hurricane toss? Which streamer? And bug fables, yeah. Okay, this good. Two. Good. There we go. There we go. We're good. Let's go. This was unnecessary. We could have replaced the waves. Leaf speaks truth. Extremely unnecessary. Please don't control the body. I'm sorry, that smoke made me. I couldn't help it. Alright, I apologize as well. Look at that, they're talking things out. Something that we rarely see. That was very funny though. Behind this, watering the oasis as a years. We're too lazy to press tears. Yeah! Pretty moth, I like. Please remove yourselves. We will. Yep, we can do that. Goodbye. Ooh, okay, so it's 40. So we definitely need this for the zombie moth, so. We spin. Cool. So you found the thing? Not a clue. Not a clue what you mean by thing, but okay. And I'm sure has Eros. I don't think so either, I won't lie. One. Also, this is Chubby. This bee's name is Chubby and I love her. Ah, honey pancakes. Yeah. I love that bee so much. Or that. Makes pancakes. Yeah! Her name is Chubby. She's mine now. Alright, fair. Fine. So long as I can have the pretty moth. Fair. Fine. We have a hard bargain. Lifesteal is pretty good. That's only at the start. Wait, no. Wait. Lifesteal for good. Lifesteal sounds pretty right? Yeah. It's supposed to be it heals you every time you successfully attack someone. Hopefully it's this. And then give the lore book. Cool. a stink moth, then 5 berries. Need a bit. I'll return. More berries. The toes from there. No, right? Like, what the heck, man? Come on. You could have told us that way earlier. What the heck? I thought I had enough. I did not have enough. Withdraw. Here we go. I now have enough berries. The hiccups. Have to go. I want to hurry and defeat the zombie moth. Alright. You. Think mouth. Cool. Okay, then we should be good there. Now we just go. We speedrun. We go. We zoom. Zoom. We zoom in. Just wanna beat the zombie moth, please. I hate that it's so. The plant was breaking the ice. How could it? What the heck? I needed that ice. There we go. Alright, it was so mean. So rude. Cry. Living with the That's still good. Yeah, I'm supposed to go this way. Go. Okay. I forgot about you. I'm very silent during the fight, I promise. You're good, no worries. It's all good. No worries, I also see a mushroom. Must have it. More health. Give me more health. For healing health. Oh, no. Thank you. Goodbye. Yes, go. Already did all this. No, we zoom, we zoom, we zoom, we zoom, we zoom, we go, we go, we go. Here we go. Trying to think, there's a reason underleveled. I don't know what you I don't know what you are talking about. I got this, I'm fine. I'm good. It's fine. It's all good. No worries. Oh shoot. Hold on, just one moment. Just realizing the team. Give me just 1 moment. I didn't see the teamwork stuff. Yeah, the cat toast. The cat is being made into a sandwich. It's a sandwich now. Look at it. It is so it is so fluffy. I have done nothing. What you mean? I am definitely not restarting because I realized that my teamwork points is at like 1 instead of the 22 it was supposed to be at. We're all good though, no worries. It's okay. And I'm definitely not just restarting the game real quick. I know, just definitely not. No. I would never. But anyway, how you doing? You doing good? Doing good. I'm definitely not just quickly running through like story and everything. I'm definitely not. No. Oh hey, welcome back, C. Welcome back. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing. I never felt. Are you sure? Are you sure about that, CF? If feels if you fell asleep, you might need to just go to sleep. I won't lie. Okay, good. You can't hear me smashing my controller. I mean, what? Oh hey. Oh hey, look at that. No, nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's all good. Nothing happened. It's all good. We're good. Everything's all good. I didn't make it. Also, Clay. Clay, I don't know what you mean. But I have never done any. I didn't do anything. See, we're all good now. No worries. See? Yeah. Me? Is me? Yes. Hello. Hi. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good. Not even gonna finish this? That's fair. I know, that's very fair. That's very fair. That's fair. I'm just gonna be here. Oh, that's what I forgot. That's what I forgot. Forgot to do the spy. Here we go. Okay, no, it's on leave. Ooh, frozen. Was frozen, never mind. Gotcha, never mind then. I see how it is. Can I get a good amount of healing stuff so we're all... Hopefully Hurricane Toss should be good. It's okay, Clay, you can talk, no worries. It is all good. You're good. It's okay. And good. And It's down one, that's okay, that's all good. That. Good. That's down one, that's okay. Nothing. Leave. Lambiazzo. Let's see. HP 6. Okay. Then I can again. That way the moth won't. The zombie will still be. Okay, that's good. With frozen drift. Should be. Okay. I reach. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, might as well get. And double. And then we're already down to 55, so that's. Okay, so now it's just HP. No more skills. Could be. Better than before for sure. Put your love god, don't you? Good. I'm fairly confident this time at least. To be honest. Especially with both the healing on Kaboo and the TP healing on, which should be good. I'm just saying the lack of levels with items. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. Just a wee. Okay, yeah. Nope. You. mean, you're definitely not wrong in that regard. To be honest, though, you're really not wrong. I am absolutely compensating levels. I'm not gonna lie. We're just, compensating with items. Still good. Indicate that. Again for the berries. I messed up. I messed up, okay. I messed up big time. Then again. I'm upset because I'd said to go to bed at midnight. So you have to get some. You have to get sleep. Yeah. You gotta get some sleep. It was totally unfair. I made the rule. It happens. It's okay, CF. Hi, Pipette. Okay, CF. Gotta get this. Did you finish all the items? Maybe. Okay, there we go. Oh, shoot. Awesome, I can. Cool. Good, that's good. Okay. And then, now with that one flying, it'd be easier to do. Try the cough again. Actually get it right this time. Oh, that's good. It's okay, we just revive, it's all good. And nothing. Double kiss on dying? Yeah. 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 Just a little bit of dying. Okay. Let's go see that. Dash through. No. Only one. Dash. I won't have enough for the coffin, which I have a feeling is gonna happen next turn, I think. That. Yep, see? Yep, coffin is happening next turn. I'm actually kind of very glad that Good, there we go. 23. Okay. And then we do nothing. They gain 1 TP back. We go back to leave to the shield. Okay. And then 23. I know, right? Please. Okay. Okay, sleep lows. That at least look decent. Okay, there's one magic seed. That's okay, that's okay. Got it. 3, 18. Down to 17. I could use the seed to heal right away now. You know what? We are gonna have you in the front real quick. Heat shield, pretty much, yeah. Okay, Good. Oh, down to 2. Shoot, okay. Okay. Really on kaboot. Okay, at least 1 more HP. Sleeping. A charm, please just heal me. We got close though. We did get close. We're gonna try this again. Night. Have a good night, CF. Good night. Did get close. Bad luck, but you're also doing it right. No, you're good. You're good. No worries. It is all good. I promise. be fair, I'm also like not the greatest at blocking either. That's all good, no worries. I'm fairly confident I'll win. Eh. To be fair, I did get close. It was like down to 20. Okay. Then... Almost dead. It was down to 20. It was down to 20. It got down to 20. Got down to 20. Got down to 20. I'm counting that. Okay. Let's try this again. Get this time. Frozen drill. Okay. Yes. Okay, yeah, it does a lot, so that's good. Thief. Nothing. So appreciate skills instead. They're just not fun. Boo's down again. Not surprised, to be honest. Okay. Let's try this. more time. One more time. I am stubborn now. I want the zombie moth dead. I want the zombie moth dead. Okay. Zombie moth dead. It's painful. I don't know what you mean. I am simply trying my best, okay? I am simply trying. Such a liar. Bruh. I am trying my best. Best here. Oh, wait, is everything okay now? Okay, red square has changed. Hold on. Yep. It do work again. Yes. If you can't see anything, push. I think we're good now, though. I think. Maybe. Maybe, possibly. Everything looks like it's going good, at least. Hopefully. You just can't win this game. Yeah, no, I really can't, apparently. Okay, everything is looking good now. Okay. Okay. Because it's been, like, almost... Because it's been 3.5 hours. If I don't win this round, I will stop. And just stop stream. Because it's been, like, 4.5 hours. 4 hours. But I think it's a pretty good deal. Yeah. There we go. But I think that's a pretty good, it's pretty decent. Like a good, middle ground at least. Okay, cool, frozen. Hopefully we get better things for... Okay, so that's pretty good for it. Good, that's good. Okay. Energy. Leaf. Good. Do some ice. Yeah. Okay, so there's that. That's what I was waiting for. Good. This one. much just switching. Yeah. Thank you for the heals finally. Vigo has so much more. Okay, there's that. I think we'll only do HP. Good. Probably do the. Don't still have enough. Got the last part. Still did 9 damage though, which. Okay, then gift to Kaboot. I could do dash 3. I would do dash 3. Okay. deal with. There's one. I know, I'm still good. That should be good. Wow, this moth is not like Kabuki. The 13. I could do something very risky. Doing it. Ooh, okay, okay. Oh, okay. Then... Wait, no. Okay. Oh, okay. That took so long. Oh. Ow. I'm not gonna lie, I did not think I was gonna do that. But let's go! Oh, that took way too long. That was like full on shrimp mode. I need to stretch. Yeah, okay. Oh. Oh, let's go. Let's go. We did it. That monster sparking memories. Ooh. Oh. Playing log footage. 2048-B. It's a failure. Yet another one. Disgusting. If it keeps up like this, our research. Throw it out with the others. We should call it a day. That's right. Oh no. Playing security footage. 3851-AZD. Oh. Oh. We really did pass away in Snake Mouth. Be here with us. It's not me, Leaf. It really is. I'm also a Zamoth prototype. Oh. Oh, Leaf. I sent the first and everyone. Yeah, you were right. I mean, oh no. They are people Leaf helped. Well, he was in the spider's cocoon at some point. Wanted to care for them too. Before I realized, started believing I was Leaf too. Oh. It goes without saying after everything we've seen. Facility, research, court. Everything we found in here is cruel and heartless. Yeah, but not you. You're like a pretty cool dude. Hey. Am I, or was Leaf a cool dude? I don't really know. You didn't know us before, right? They became good friends, though. So, you, or Leaf, why not both? Are you seriously trying to make it that simple? Don't like UV. It's true, though, isn't it? You've chosen to take Leaf's mantle. But to us, you're a Leaf anyways. Give me a break, I am not Leaf. Nothing but some thing. Something that thinks it is. We never knew Leaf anyway, so it's okay. That's messed up. What about his family? Do you still care for them? Do you care about us? Well, yes. We're very grateful for everything, and it's been fun. You don't have to decide right now how you feel. Truth be told, this is an unbelievable scenario. But you're our friend. It's okay. Yeah, it's not like you were faking or anything. Right, we're faked anything. Let's go. We have a lot to think about if we're going to meet our family. Take it easy, okay? So listen when you decide what to do. Get out of here. Aww. Aww. Wait, does that mean? Does that mean what I think it means? Yeah, right back to the doorbell after torture, right? Hold on, I think we're gonna see more. Yep. Yep. E. Kaboo. We've been thinking on the way here. Who are we? Who was I before I met Leaf? We don't know. Feels like even if I'm not Leaf, I've become him. Better or worse. If I threw out his memories and personality, these precious thoughts would get lost. Maybe I can't discard them, even if I tried. What do you want to do? We want to meet our family. Apologize to Muse. Be Elizant again. And with the same things Leaf does. And do them. And Leaf's will. At least I believe that will be okay. Yes, that's what we decided to do. Not Leaf exactly, but we are still Leaf. Even though he got lost to time and fused with the cordyceps, he will live on as Leaf. Glad you won't go missing on us. We're a friend, so this changes nothing. Going to go in. Not sure what'll happen. We stay out here? Oh, please, come with us. I want my family to meet my friends. Oh, explorers. What brings you to our house? Esteemed Snagmouth. They saved us from the wasps. Oh, it's an honor. Yes, these are my friends, Kabuki, and we're... Nice to meet you. Pleasure. Young lad, you look quite a lot like father when I was a kid. Really? About that, that's why we're here. I think we're, one of your distant relatives. We've been looking for you for a long time. What? Father, what is this meaning of this? Hey, brothers, don't jump on me. Oh no. My uncle? Really? You're not lying? It's something like that. Oh, my million aunts. I can't believe it. Sorry, we're just barging into your life. I'm believing now. No, wait. It's a good surprise. Gotta stay for dinner. Your friends too. Aw, yeah, free food. Forgive V, she has little tact. Is it really okay? Of course, your family. I'm not completely sure. I don't know how, but I know it's true. Don't worry. Besides, you're the coolest explorer. My uncle's so cool. Thank you. We'll stay then. Oh. It's okay, Clay. Leaf is crying too. Leaf is crying as well. Hughes, your cooking is out of this world. It's been so good to meet you. We've got a mission to go to. Well, that's not an issue. Come back anytime. You gotta tell us more explorer stories. And bring some souvenirs. You will. Please take care. It was super good. Yeah. Thank you very much for your hospitality. Always have a home here. Have safe travels, alright? How are you feeling like? We can never truly repay you. What's what is? Seeing you happy is ample. We're truly fortunate to have you back then. Saved us in more ways than one. Come on, you're not the sappy type. Something else troubles you. Just come to us. Same. Let's gonna move on then. There's a lot to do. Yee. Aw, that was adorable. Aw. It's okay, I'm crying and I'm crying on the inside as well. Oh, that was adorable. That was so cute. Alright, but well, it's time for me to end. Time for me to end because it's been almost 4 hours. I won't stream anyone. I won't raid anyone because it's pretty late. Yeah, I think this is the only time I'll ever be happy about you ending stream. That's fair. I did stream for a bit and it was painful, especially with the zombie moth and everything. But I plan on streaming tomorrow as well. Oh no. Yeah, no, I'm definitely just go get some sleep, please. If it lasted longer than an hour. Yeah, I am so sorry, Clay. Please get some good sleep, okay? Get some good sleep. Oh, I will let you know. I do plan on streaming again tomorrow. I will have to flip a coin on whether it will be Slime Rancher or Splatoon. We will see. Alright. Very cool stream despite the madness. Yeah! It was a very emotional stream too. It's very emotional with what just happened at the very end. Alright, but this is where I'm gonna end. Yeah, very, very lore heavy, absolutely. This is where I'm gonna end. Be sure get some good sleep, hydrate if you need, get a snack if you need, and just be kind to yourself and everything. Also, VOD watchers, I hope you're doing well as well. Apologies for just kinda ignoring everything and just being hyper focused on the battle and everything. But VOD watchers, you be good as well. Alright. And I will see you tomorrow. Alright. This is my part. Goodbye. We'll see what ends up happening tomorrow. We'll see. Goodbye. Hey, bye bye. Bye bye.